So apparently there's snow in Minnesota. There's been for a while, like happens in the winter. There's no snow here though. I hope it snows, at least a little bit, while I'm here. I think my main comment on London winter is that it's not as cold as Minnesota, but it's darker. I used to talk about the weather more. You probably weren't around then, but I figured that since it is now officially the Christmas season, I should mention something, and also to prove that I do, in fact, go outside sometimes. One thing that you should know is that I have a friend called Francisco who makes videos here on YouTube that are consistently better than mine, and that recently I was in one of his videos, so you should go and check that out and also subscribe to him because he's cool. I will put links both downstairs and at the end of this video. So last Friday I went to the Warner Brothers Harry Potter studio tour. There was no filming allowed inside, but it was pretty cool. They had a lot of special effects, creature stuff, and like some concept art, and at the end was this big model of Hogwarts, and that was all really cool. And it was also pretty cool to see all like the little sets, but the way they had it set up was more of kind of like museum-y, touristy, so it didn't really feel like a film set. Like I'd have to remind myself, like, yeah, these are all the real sets and props and costumes that they used for the filming, and that's cool. But it was also really crowded and just kind of set up in a way that it didn't totally feel like the real thing. And maybe that's because it was all like set up on display, or maybe it's just the nature of film that it's not going to be as cool in real life, or maybe it's just that I've never been as crazy about the Harry Potter movies. Plus I often have the problem where like my last impression of something like colors the entire experience. And at the end of the tour was the gift shop, which was kind of stressful. Now I should start by saying that I have a general and sometimes irrational aversion to spending money. Like it stresses me out, especially when like now I don't really have an income source. And stuff in that gift shop was expensive. Like it'd be cool to have a Ravenclaw scarf or tie, but not really enough that I'd want to spend almost $40 US on either. And obviously just about everything in that gift shop was merchandise from the Harry Potter movies, which have just never been my favorite part of the fandom. I know some people who feel about the movies just like OMG sobs all the way through my childhood, but I've actually only seen each of the sevens once, and I almost burst out laughing when, spoiler alert, Voldemort exploded. But it was weird to see people who like had mentioned that they weren't even huge Harry Potter fans carrying these big baskets of merchandise, and like, you know, now lots of people from my school have house scarves, and I'm a giant nerd, but I still couldn't bring myself to buy a Ravenclaw scarf. And that kind of bugged me a little bit. I know that nerd culture is supposed to be like, you know, equal and accepting, but to be honest, there's always been a little part of me that like feels the need to prove that I'm the best nerd, like it's a competition or something. But I don't need official merchandise to prove that I'm a Harry Potter fan. Just because I don't have a full, serious cosplay outfit doesn't make me any less of a nerd. But then at the same time, I need to remember that I'm not necessarily any more of a nerd because I went to LeakyCon. Just like how I'm not better than anyone because I started watching Sherlock in 2010. A couple of my friends have Doctor Who posters and I haven't finished watching Torchwood, but that doesn't make me any worse than them. People like stuff in different ways. I like the books and the fandom community more than movies and merch, and that's okay. Because the thing is, what I'm a fan of isn't the most important part of my personality. It's not even like the most important part of my internet presence. I have a lot of friends who like similar stuff than me, but we're not friends just because of that. We talk about other stuff and we have other interests and we geek out about stuff together. We're people and people can like stuff in different ways, and that doesn't make their liking any more or less valid. And sometimes I have a hard time remembering that, but it's something I'm working on. And if you have any thoughts or experiences on the subject, please feel free to share them in comments. Bye now.